Wall details are a lot like sections, and they include a lot of information on how things fit together. Before we get into wall details, I'm going to review some materials that we're going to see. To begin with, you're going to have studs, metal studs in this case, this commercial building. Inside the wall, you're going to have insulation. Sometimes that insulation is used for acoustical reasons, other times it's used for thermal reasons. On the studs, you're going to have different types of drywall possibly. On the inside, certainly. On the outside, maybe as a base layer. Then you might have some rigid insulation. For this project, they use extruded polystyrene. On this project, you're going to see a lot of exterior materials used, from glazed CMU to metal siding to glazing. Our focus is going to be on this corner of the building from drawing A101. When we zoom in on that corner, we see that we have a detail number 1 on drawing A132. So let's go to drawing A132 and look at that detail 1. Now when you look at a detail like this, you should begin to imagine those materials coming together. And as you gain more experience, you're going to be able to do this. Of course, we have the studs, right? That's in the middle of the wall. Then on the outside of the wall, we have a membrane. That's that drywall we talked about. And then that membrane is coated. Then comes the layer of polystyrene. And then finally, the exterior material, which is the steel. On the inside, we have standard drywall. Now let's look at a different area on the drawing. And we're going to look at detail number 2 on A-132. We can see that this wall is made up slightly different than the last one we looked at. So let's break this down. Like before, we have metal studs in the center of the drywall. And we have this exterior membrane that we saw before. And we have the polystyrene, just like we saw before. Except now, instead of having a metal exterior, we have this glazed CMU, or this glazed block. Inside the wall here, we see this wavy line. That indicates that we have batt insulation. And then finally, on the inside of the wall, we have our drywall. While we're on this drawing, I want to point out something I probably would have done differently than the way it's designed, something you could recommend as a contractor. So the designer took the drywall around a column and then left this gap that's going to be about 4 inches wide. So there's going to be a little pocket, 4 by 4, that they have to deal with. It's going to collect dust, trash, and stuff. It's going to be hard to sweep in. What they should have done is probably taken the drywall on the outside of the column instead of the inside and eliminated that little pocket. Those are little things you can look for and actually add during construction to improve the functionality of the building. Now here's the illustration of the same wall, except that it uses brick instead of CMU. This might help you understand a little bit better because it's in 3 dimensions. As you work in construction more, you're going to be able to visualize this when you see these drawings. I want to show you just one more area on this building because of the complexity that it presents you as a contractor. This is detail number 4. And it's where the walls come together at very odd angles. You're going to spend more time working on this particular junction of a wall than you do on many, many areas of this building because of the way the block's going to be cut and the way the framing has to be done. You need to find these points in a drawing and realize this is going to take you more time and more expense to build than your average building.